Dios. Good evening here on the YouTube Play Red Live channel. My name is Daniel Armstrong. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's YouTube live stream. Now today, well, what an important match we have ahead of us. The biggest game of the season, you could argue, depending on the result, of course, and depending on the results of many other teams. But for me, this just might be the biggest game of the whole season by far. We have a very interesting one to come up, where Real Mallorca are going to be taking on Levante away from home at the Estadio Ciudad de Valencia, a very complicated stadium against a very complicated team. Now, we are looking at two sides in very similar positions. You know, predicting a match like this out here today, for me, it's just impossible. We're going to take a look a bit at recent form from both of these sides, and, you know, whether Mallorca are ready for this match, whether Levante are more prepared. But before we do all of that, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like, and to turn on push notifications. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to us here on the Mallorca YouTube Play Red channel. But either way, let's stop talking about that and get right into this match. Now, looking at last week's results, well, not even last week, last Wednesday's result for Real Mallorca, it is a bit of a disadvantage because they did play last Wednesday, you know, just 4 days ago. Levante had a bit more of a rest before them. Mallorca have played 2 games this week, and they took a huge loss away from home, also at the Coliseum Stadium, where Vedan Muriqi did manage to score early on to give Mallorca the lead, but Getafe responded strongly before the halftime and took control of the match in the second half. Mallorca struggled defensively under the pressure and couldn't recover after conceding 3 goals, leaving Madrid without any points, losing 3-1 up against that strong Getafe side at the Coliseum Stadium. Wasn't exactly expecting a huge result from Mallorca up against this, one of the strongest Getafe seasons we've ever seen in LaLiga. They're 7th place right now. It's looking good for them to qualify for European football. They're a really strong side. Despite them, they might not win all the matches. They might not be on the greatest streaks, but at the end of the day, they're at 7th place. They're getting European football. And when it comes to playing at their stadium, they're a tough side. Nevertheless, it's not an excuse. For me, last week out was a really poor performance from Mallorca. It really, really was. Even possession-wise, Mallorca was stronger. They had 57% possession with 8 shots and a total of 4 on target, whereas Getafe only got 43% possession, managing to get 6 shots and 4 on target. So, out of 4 shots on target, they scored 3 of them. Getafe are one of the lowest goal-scoring sides in the whole of the LaLiga division, and yet they did manage to score 3 goals up against Mallorca. You were looking at a Getafe side that scored 1 goal in their last 5 matches. And then when Mallorca showed up last Wednesday, they put 3 past them. Just overall, defensively, it was a mess. Offensively going forward, it wasn't creative enough. It wasn't good enough. Overall, I think nothing in that matchup was really good about the whole team, from the defense to the attack to the midfield. Nothing was adding up last week out. It was really poor. And I think Mallorca this season, when it comes to playing away from home, they really, really have struggled. At the Son Moss Stadium, when they play at home, it's a different story for them. They look a lot better when they play at home. They really, really do. It makes a huge difference. Then they go away from home, and they just look like a different team. So that was last week out for Mallorca. But if we compare both sides, talking about their last 5 matches in the La Liga division, Real Mallorca have only won 1 out of their last 5, and Levante have won 3 out of their last 5. So this Levante side, although they started off the season really, really poorly, they have started to pull it back, and now they stand a good chance at saving themselves, just like Mallorca. These are 2 sides, that are sitting literally on the same amount of points. Real Mallorca have 39 points on the table, and they're at 18th place. And Levante are also on 39 points on the table, and they're sitting at 19th place. These 2 teams are head-to-head. Matters of fact, huge coincidence, by the way. Both of these teams have lost 17 times, they've won 10 matches, and they've drawn 9. So they both have the exact same win, draw, and loss record this season, and the same amount of points, and they're sitting right beside each other. It couldn't get any closer than this. I think the only difference is the fact that Levante get to play at home means they have the bigger advantage, and not also that, but Levante have been pulling some impressive results recently. Matters of fact, let's take a look at last time out for Levante, where they faced up against Celta Vigo, where Levante did manage to pull off a dramatic comeback in their most recent La Liga match, earning a huge win away from home at the Balaidos Stadium. Celta Vigo took the lead twice through Ferran Jutgla, but Levante kept on responding with goals from Arriaga and De La Fuente. So again, absolutely huge result for Levante. And then it was Roger Brugge who did score the winner also for them after a defensive mistake from Celta Vigo. And the victory was given to Levante in the 3 points they took home to avoid relegation zone. What a result to win 2-3 at the Balaidos Stadium up against Celta Vigo. We're all aware that Celta Vigo this season, when it comes to playing at their ground, or even when it comes to playing away from home, they're always a tough side to face. For me, Celta Vigo are just that type of opponent that you'll never exactly get an easy victory versus them. And I just think they're a tough side. So that's a huge result for Levante last week out. And they'll be coming here to play at home with plenty of confidence. So again, Mallorca really just have to give it their all. And if you have been, not living under a rock, and if you've been on the socials looking about, there's clips in front of... Sorry, we just had a bit of a disconnection moment there. Sorry about that. But as you're looking at your screen, there were the away fans screaming at the Mallorca players at last week's match versus Getafe at the Coliseum Stadium. The Real Mallorca players, they went up to the away fans, and the away fans were telling them, 2 games left. This is it. We have to face this. It's a life or death situation. Give it your all because, this is it. This is it. There's no more. Mallorca, we're aware of the season they've had. They've had a change in managers. Martin de Michelis came in just about 2 to 3 months ago, almost now, to take hold of Mallorca. And it's just not been good enough. I think he made a huge impact when he arrived. Mallorca started to look a lot better, but now they've just had that bit of a dip again with poor performances, and there's just really no excuse for it. And now there's 2 games left to stay in the first division of LaLiga football. It's now or never. We have this match kicking off right now at the Ciudad de Valencia Stadium, and then next week out at the Son Moix Stadium, Saturday at 9 p.m. we have Real Mallorca versus Real Oviedo, one of the weaker sides. And of course, that has to be 3 points. But, I think the result out here today could almost set the scene for Mallorca on what they're going to be getting next season. And so we have both of these sides out on the pitch, and we're getting ready for kickoff. Mallorca in the classic away kits with the white, black and red, and Levante, of course, in their classic home kit in the dark red and dark blue. It's absolutely pouring down with rain here at the Ciudad de Valencia Stadium. There is over 500 away fans for Mallorca out there today, and that is the highest they've had in years when it comes to away fans. So the support out there today is absolutely unreal for Mallorca. Plenty and plenty of atmosphere, not just for Levante but also for Mallorca. The support is there to push on their side. They've been putting up the banners at the training grounds, leaving their signs for Mallorca. The fans have made it clear that they need to give it their all. And now that ball is in the middle of the pitch, and the referee is going to blow his whistle. And we will kick off here at the Ciudad de Valencia Stadium. Samu Costa finally back in the starting lineup after picking up a suspension last week out, and Johan Mojica also back in the lineup after picking up a bit of an injury 2 weeks ago. And by the looks of it, Real Mallorca is going to be the side to kick off the match. So now the referee blows his whistle, and we are on the way. Mallorca kick us off the match. And what a crazy 90 minutes we have ahead of us. You cannot state how important this match is going to be for both of these sides. You could pretty much call this match, it's almost like a playoff to find out who goes down and who stays up. It really is. As I mentioned, both of these sides on 39 points. Both of them in the relegation zone. Whoever wins will take a 3-point gap on the other. It's a huge match. It's the second last one of the league. There's still one more match left to go next week out. But again, the size of this match, you just cannot describe it for Mallorca and for Levante. And if you are tuned into La Liga football, we have a crazy crazy kickoff system this week, as there's about over 9 matches also playing at the same time. Right now, Sunday at 7 p.m, there's about 8 or 9 other matches that have also kicked off all at the same time. So it really will all be decided out here today. So now Levante in possession, and they get the throw-in. There's the manager for Mallorca, Martin de Michelis, on the sidelines. And he has done a decent job since his arrival, but will it be enough to keep Mallorca in the first division? We'll find out eventually. So now here's De La Fuente, plays into Toljan. Toljan with the long ball, looking for Espi. Leo Roman gets there first. And he's a huge goalkeeper, Leo Roman, for Mallorca, but last Wednesday, just really wasn't his day. He made a huge mistake to give away the second goal up against Getafe. And there's already been a goal in one of the matches. Real Sociedad have scored their first in the first 3 minutes, taking the lead over Valencia, which is obviously huge news for Real Mallorca on the table. So far, a good start for Mallorca at least. And now Leo Roman in possession of the ball. He plays it short into David Lopez. The two centre-backs today, Martin Valgent and David Lopez. Just last week, again, it just wasn't their day. I just think the whole squad had a bad performance last week out. And Luvumbo gets taken down there, but the offside flag goes up, so it wouldn't have counted either way. Levante take the free kick quickly. Here comes Espi. He gets taken down, and now it's going to be a free kick for Levante. Mano Morlanes just committing the free kick there. And now Levante have the first set-piece play of the matchup. And I think both of these sides are playing with a really, really high rhythm out there today. You can already see in these first few minutes how much they're pushing forward. And it's also absolutely pouring down with rain here, which is not a good advantage for Mallorca. On the sunny island of Palma de Mallorca, we don't usually get that amount of rain. So now Johan Mojica brings it down and he plays it into Veda Muriqui. Sergi Darder into David Lopez. Now here comes Darder, helping the team play from at the back. Martin Valgents back to Leo Roman. And the last time that these two sides did face each other was all the way back out in October. That was their last LaLiga meeting, where it did all end in a draw at the San Marcos Stadium after a competitive and tense encounter. So a draw last time that these two sides did face each other. And even so, I think a draw wouldn't even be a bad result at all for Mallorca. I think it'd be a pretty good result, considering the fact that next week out they face Real Oviedo at home, which for me has just been most likely the weakest side in La Liga this season. So now the cross goes in for Levante, but it almost turns into a shot. Leo Roman leaps up and he gets his hands on it. You can just see there Ola Sagasti, he attempts the cross. Just think he loses control of the ball a little bit. And he gives it right back to Leo Roman. So now playing up forward, looking for that long ball into Luvumbo. Mallorca get the throw in. And the support that Mallorca has been receiving within these last few days has been absolutely huge. You just got to show massive respect for those Mallorca fans. They've just been absolutely brilliant when it comes to pushing on their side. They really have been putting signs at the training grounds a day or two before this matchup, letting Mallorca know that their fans are there to support them. And over 500 of them today out there at Valencia. And, you know, maybe for one of the bigger sides in LaLiga, it's not a huge number, but for a team like Mallorca to have over 500 away fans, you know, that means everything to this club. So luckily for them, in a match like this, they have enough support to push their team on forward. Now Levante take the throw in. And they play it all the way back to Ryan. Out wide now to Toljan. Toljan with the long ball. They give it away and it's gone back to Manu Morlanes. He plays into Luvumbo. Manu Morlanes with the cross. The rebound finds its way back to Manu Morlanes. Now Mallorca can move the ball around. And now there's been a goal in the Real Sociedad Valencia match. And Valencia have equalized the score, so it's 1-1. Back to equal ways for Real Sociedad and Valencia. 9 minutes in, and both teams have scored a goal each. Of course, Mallorca need Valencia to drop as many points as possible. Now Manu Morlanes into David Lopez. David Lopez switching out to Pablo Maffeo. Real Mallorca in position. We are just approaching the first 10 minutes of this matchup. So far, a tight contest between these two sides. Brilliant touch there from Mojica. He plays into Luvumbo. Mojica attempts the cross. It's not good enough. It falls to Luvumbo, who attempts the shot, but you just can't quite get a clean connection with the ball. Now Ryan plays the ball quickly, and Levante are back in possession. Martin Valgent commits the free kick. So now Levante have the set piece play. Ola Sagasti just gets taken down there from behind. So now De La Fuente is in possession. He plays it back to Ryan. Ryan out wide to Toljan. Here's Toljan. And Toljan tries playing the long ball into Martinez, but it doesn't work out for them. Levante keep the possession to their name. And I think that will be their goal, at least for the first half, is to keep more of the possession for themselves. Maybe make Mallorca stress out a little bit. They need to keep patient. Real Mallorca and Levante, they need to keep their calm. They can't afford to give away mistakes in a matchup like this. Now, good ball there from Mojica into Pablo Torre. Mojica puts in the cross and he almost finds Vidal Muriqui. The ball was cleared, and now Manu Morlanes into Maffeo. Good interception by Sanchez. Now Romero can break forward. Here's Romero taking on Manu Morlanes. He just manages to get away with that ball. And Mallorca deal with the danger. Pablo Torre gets taken down. They take the free kick quickly and try and play it forward, but Vermoriki gives away the ball, and now Levante are back in possession. And so far, a very, very intense first 11 minutes in this matchup. You can really, really feel the energy in this one. And of course, both of these teams need to chase those 3 points, like if their life depends on it. Again, this is pretty much like a playoffs final almost. So now Levante can drive forward, and it's a good tackle there by Martin Valgent. A really, really important one, as it just looked like Ola Sagasti, he was driving forward to take on Leo Roman 1v1. Martin Valgent pulls up from behind, he gets the tackle in. It's a really important one there. And now Levante have the corner. The first corner of the matchup, can Levante make something from it? It's cleared by Davi Lopez, and now Luvumbo picks up the rebound, and Mallorca can potentially have a chance. He puts it through his legs there, Luvumbo, and he gets taken down. It's going to be a free kick for Mallorca. He does well there, Luvumbo. Just skip it past his legs. Doljan knows he needs to take him down. I'd argue he's lucky to not have picked up the yellow card there. And the ball's flying all over the place, but in the end it's Mallorca that bring it down. And Espi just looks like he's on the ground, and he looks quite hurt. And Sergi Derder poorly giving away the ball there. Now Levante can drive forward. It's a good tackle from Pablo Maffeo. The ball falls all the way back to Moreno. He plays it free into Romero. Romero tries putting in the cross into the second post. And Leo Roman gets his hands on it. You can just see his intentions there, Romero. The outside of the foot pass. Just looking for that second post. Just can't get enough curl on it. Leo Roman reads the ball well, and he intercepts it. Now Maffeo into Martin Valgent. Here's Manu Morlanes back to David Lopez. Leo Roman in possession. And Real Madrid have taken the lead up against Sevilla. They've scored the first in that matchup. So now Sevilla down by a goal, losing at their own ground, which is also very big news for Mallorca. Now Sergi Derder decides to try and kick it up forward. Arriaga back to Moreno. Moreno back to Leo Roman. So now trying to play the ball forward. Can Levante bring it down? And Mojica decides to clear it. At the minute, in these first 15 minutes, Mallorca have not really had any decent build-up play. They've not really had a chance yet at all. And when they get the ball back, they just kick it up forward. They look a bit too nervous. I think Levante, on the other hand, they've been a bit more straightforward when it comes to attacking so far. They've been not so shy at taking it down the wing and putting in crosses. I think Mallorca just need a bit more of that. And cheeky little fake there by Leo Roman. A very risky one in a match like this, but he's gone away with it. And here's Samu Costa. He can switch it down to the left side. Manu Morlanes into Sergi Darder. Martin Valgens. Now here comes Samu Costa. Into Velamuriki. Samu Costa attempts the volley from quite some range outside of the box. It goes flying over the crossbar. It's a poor effort there from Mallorca. Needs to be a bit better than that. And again, you know, just as I mentioned, I think at the minute Mallorca going forward, they just look a bit too shy, to say the least. It's been a bit sloppy. Defensively, they have maintained strong so far, and the midfield looks solid as well, but it's just going forward at the minute. Brilliant interception there by Johan Mojica to stop Toljan from going forward. Now Mojica into Manu Morlanes. Davi Lopez out wide to Martin Valgens. So far, it's really good football from Mallorca. Defensively, the passes, they've been strong. In the midfield and the defensive, they maintain themselves well. And Deportivo Alavés have taken the lead now up against Real Oviedo, where they've scored the first. Which obviously is not the greatest news for Mallorca. So now Sergi Darder into Davi Lopez. Davi Lopez out wide to Johan Mojica. And as it stands right now, with this result and the other results, Mallorca would have 40 points and they would stay in the relegation zone at 18th place. And then next week out, they would face Real Oviedo in their last matchup. So here's Luvumbo. Luvumbo tries putting in the cross and it goes out for a corner. And Real Oviedo, even if they win or lose, it wouldn't mean much. But at the minute, Deportivo Alavés are beating them, which gives them the 3 points to crawl away from Mallorca. Girona are still in a draw, and Elche are winning their matchup at the minute up against Getafe. So now Real Mallorca put in the cross into that second post, and Pablo Torre was looking for Davi Lopez, but he just couldn't find him. Now Levante in possession, and they play it back. Decide to slow the play down a little bit. Here's De La Fuente. He tries playing the long ball. It's a poor pass. Mojica with the long pass into Luvumbo. It's a really good ball there, and it's going to be a throw-in for Mallorca. It's a brilliant ball. Luvumbo just couldn't get there. If he got a touch on the ball, maybe he could have gotten the free kick. But he just decides to play it out. And now a throw-in for Mallorca. So now Mojica into Pablo Torre, who attempts the back heel. He intercepts the ball. He gets the ball back after losing it. Good stuff from him. Samu Costa lets it go. And Sanchez picks up the ball, and now Levante can break forward. And a huge mistake from Samu Costa. Maybe he just thinks the Portuguese that there's someone behind him ready to get the ball, but there's no one there. And the effort from Levante results in a goal kick. SB, he just gets the slightest touch with his head on it. It's a good ball to find him. He does get the header on, but it's just a bit of a difficult angle. So Atletico de Madrid have now just taken the lead up against Girona at the Metropolitano Stadium, which is also good news for Mallorca. And at the minute, as it stands, it's more positive results for Mallorca than negative ones. All Mallorca need to do now is get the result for their side, for their own matchup. And on the table, it's looking good, as most of the sides beside Mallorca, at the minute, they're all losing. What a day it is. All the kickoffs at the same time. It's really all being decided here. So now David Lopez into Manu Morlanes. Back to Leo Roman. Here's Martin Valgent. Sergi Dorder. Back to Martin Valgent. David Lopez into Manu Morlanes. Pablo Torre losing the ball there in a dangerous position, and he gives away the free kick. He just tries to turn around. You can see his intentions. And by the looks of it, there's going to be a substitute now for Levante. In the first 22 minutes, Doljan comes off, the right back for Levante. And replacing him is going to be Perez. Not quite sure why. I'm guessing maybe due to a bit of a physical discomfort. And 22 minutes in, and the first substitution is made for Levante. Here's De La Fuente. De La Fuente plays it out wide into Sanchez. Sanchez is going to play that long ball. Martin Valgent gets there first. Levante keep the rebound, and now they can drive forward. And a huge interception there from Pablo Maffeo. Levante just looked like they were free, and now they could have a chance again. Putting in the cross into that second post. And it goes over the crossbar for Espy. It's another header from him. He's doing well to get his head on it, but he just can't keep them on target. And he's one man that Mallorca are going to need to be careful and look out for. He's a tall striker. He does get his head on it. And even though he missed, he doesn't look upset. Instead, he's just motivating the crowd. Now good header from Muriqi into Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre tries putting in the cross. It doesn't work out for him. The rebound falls back to him, and Mallorca still keep hold of that ball. Now lovely turn there from Sergi Dorder. Manu Morlanes out wide to Mojica. Mojica puts in the cross. It finds Samu Costa. And a good header there from Samu Costa. And even though it didn't look like much was coming from it, Ryan, he had to get down and get his hands on it. It wasn't the best header, but it did enough. Just looks like it's going out. Maybe Ryan, he's just not too sure whether he should make the save or let it go. He decides to get down in the end, get his hands on it. So now a corner for Mallorca. And Pablo Torre is going to put in the cross. Can they make anything from this? Pablo Torre puts in the ball. It falls to Mojica, who attempts the shot. The shot was blocked. But it looked like a decent effort there from Johan Mojica. Now he plays the long ball and looking for Samu Costa in that second post, but instead it goes into the hands of Ryan. Now Levante can drive forward. Manu Morlanes gets the ball back. No free kick, says the referee, so the play is going to continue for Real Mallorca. Martinez, the captain for Levante, was just claiming that he was taken down by Manu Morlanes. Good tackle there to take down Pablo Torre. And it's going to be a throw-in for Levante. There's the tackle by Arriaga. Just about looks clean enough. So the referee doesn't award the free kick. So now a throw-in for Levante, and the rain continues to pour down here in Valencia. It's absolutely pouring. So now Perez plays the long ball looking for that number 9, but he doesn't quite find him. Romero just couldn't bring it down. Now Mojica with the throw-in. And the maximum goal scorer this season for Mallorca, who managed to win a Team of the Season for EA Sports with 22 goals to his name, is Vedat Muriqi, the Pirate, the striker for Mallorca. And just behind him is Kylian Mbappe, who's on 24 goals as it stands. He's only 2 goals behind Mbappe. And what a player he's been. Scoring over 60% of Mallorca's goals. He's been an absolutely brilliant striker. You know, for a club that's in relegation zone, to score 22 goals, it's so impressive. And then the man above you on 2 more goals plays for Real Madrid, you know. What a player he's been. The best season he's had by far, of course. So now Levante have the set piece play. The free kick. Can they make anything from it? Putting the cross into that second post where it's cleared by Martin Valgent. So now it's going to be another corner for Levante. Putting in the cross is going to be Martinez. Now, can Mallorca avoid the danger? 29 minutes in here now. Levante take the corner. They try putting into that second post. And it just goes wide. Levante claim for another corner, but the referee's awarded a goal kick. And I don't think there was a touch on it, just by the way the ball bounced and rolled outside. It doesn't look like there was much of a touch on it. Leo Roman plays the ball up wide, looking for Vedat Muriqi, who does enough to bring it down, and it falls to Manu Morlanes. He plays into Vedat. And the free kick has been awarded for Mallorca, and there's going to be a yellow card by the looks of it. 30 minutes into the first half, and the first yellow card has been awarded. There's the free kick there. Oof. And a tough step there from Perez on Manu Morlanes. And the substitute who just came on about 7 minutes ago picks up a yellow card. A bad start for him. And a bad start for Levante. A yellow card in the first half. It's something you want to avoid. Just needs to watch out on where he lands his foot. You can see he steps on Manu Morlanes there. It's a tough foul. Now Mallorca with the free kick. Pablo Torre puts in the cross. And he puts it right into the hands of Ryan, and Levante play the ball out quickly to break on the counter-attack. Sanchez tries playing the through ball and he gives it right back to Leo Roman, and now it's Mallorca's go to push forward. So Samu Costa out wide to Mojica. Mojica back to David Lopez, and David Lopez gives the ball away and he's through on goal, and Espy puts it into the back of the net. What a mistake by David Lopez, and they've given Levante the lead. Espy takes the lead at the Ciudad de Valencia. What a huge mistake from David Lopez. 31 minutes in, and Mallorca trail behind by 1 goal. It's a huge mistake from the centre back. You can just see what he does. Johan Mojica, he plays the ball back to David Lopez. The ball starts to slow down. David Lopez, he just waits and waits for the ball. He needs to take a few steps forward, and Espy sneaks in. He takes the ball off of David Lopez. He drives forward and it's a 1v1. He just shoots right away. He catches Leo Roman off guard and there's not much he can do. Leo Roman almost makes a save there. And that mistake right there just might be the mistake of relegation for Real Mallorca. What a huge mistake from David Lopez. And this could be so bad for him. An absolute huge mistake to give away in a game like this, where your team depends on the 3 points to be saved from relegation. You know, since the kickoff, I've said that Mallorca, they've just been a bit sloppy going up forward. They've not had much. Defensively, I think they looked alright. They looked strong enough. But when it comes to connecting passes, the balls have just been a bit slow. You know, you do also have to take into consideration that it's raining, and in certain situations, the ball is either going to speed up really quickly or slow down quite a lot. And that's what just happened there for David Lopez. He just waits and waits for the ball. Espy knew exactly what he was doing. He creeps in at the last minute and steals it. So Muriqi brings it down well, and with a lovely touch, he puts in the cross, he finds Luvumbo, he gets his head on it! And what a save by Ryan! What a chance for Luvumbo to get the equalizer minutes after Levante scored there first. It's a lovely cross from Muriqi. It's a good header from Luvumbo, but it just needs a bit more power. Now Mallorca have the corner. Can they make anything from it? Putting in the crosses, Pablo Torre. It's cleared by Levante. It falls to Johan Mojica and the referee stops the play. As someone is down on the ground quite hurt. It looks... Just taking a look at the replay of what happened. It's Romero who's gone down. I just think Martin Valgens hits him the slightest with his elbow on his face. The referee awards the free kick. So 35 minutes in here now. Levante in the lead 1-0 at the Ciudad de Valencia stadium, and a huge mistake given away by David Lopez. And if Mallorca don't go on to win this one, I'm sure he's going to remember that one for quite some time. So now Levante bring it down. Manage to play it forward. Romero out wide to Sanchez. Sanchez back to Romero. Romero tries putting in the cross, and he does get a corner from it. So now Levante with another corner. Valencia have scored another, so it's 2-1 for Valencia up against Real Sociedad. Which is obviously not good news for Mallorca. So now Levante to put in the corner. The cross goes in. And it's cleared by Mallorca, and Levante decide to kick it all the way back to Ryan. Levante play the ball up forward again. Mojica tries to bring it down. It's going to be a throw-in for Levante. And just taking a look at the replay, I mean, it's a really poor mistake. And last week out, up against Getafe, the amount of goals given away from the silly mistakes of Mallorca, you know, it was just unforgivable. And then they've gone out here today, first 30 minutes in, and they've just done another huge mistake to give away the goal. And, you know, they just can't afford to give away things like these. It's not like Levante scored, you know, a magnificent, beautiful goal. It's the fact that Mallorca give away the goals themselves. They did it last week, and they've done it now again. It just isn't good enough. So now Samu Costa with the clean tackle. He plays it forward into Luvumbo. Luvumbo tries putting the cross into Muriqi. It finds Manu Morlanes. He tries putting in the cross again. And Manu Morlanes, he needs to be doing better there. Why doesn't he just take the shot off himself? Maybe wanting to pass it a bit too much there. Just take it yourself. So now Luvumbo, he tries cutting in. It's a good tackle by Sanchez. And it's going to be a throw-in for Levante. What a chance that was there for Mallorca. You can just see it's a good tackle from Sanchez, but Luvumbo got the last touch on it. And at the minute, Levante have definitely held their own. And I just think they've had that bit more intensity. At the minute, they want it more than Mallorca do. And something that Martin De Micheli said in the pre-match interview is that whoever goes out there today and puts in more intensity will get the victory. And I think at the minute, Levante look, you know, just that bit more intense, that bit more aggressive. And Mallorca, yes, they're losing because of a poor mistake given away by David Lopez, but either way, Levante still just look like more of an aggressive side at the minute, a bit more intense. So I think going into the second half, Mallorca will need to give it a lot more than they are right now. So now Levante put the throw in and it falls to Espi. And almost a huge chance to make it 2-0. Espi just misses it. Luckily for Mallorca. Here's Pablo Maffeo. He's going to put in the cross to try and find Vedan Muriqi. And he leaped up to get his head on it. He gets a touch on it, but the defender just does well enough to give him a bit of a shove. It puts him off guard. And he can't get it on target. So now a goal kick for Levante. And we're 41 minutes almost in now. Just a few minutes left before the end of the first half. And so far, Levante in the lead. 1-0 here at the Ciudad de Valencia. And there still are a few options for Martin De Michelis on that bench to make an impact on this game. You've got some decent names. For me, one player that always makes an impact when he comes on is Gianbrigili. I think he's been an exceptional player this season for Mallorca. Martin Demichelis in that second half, he might just have to give him the eyes to tell him, it's your turn to come on. Make a change. Now Johan Mojica to take the throw in. He plays it back to David Lopez. David Lopez into Leo Roman. Leo Roman out wide. Sergi Derder. 42 minutes in now. Not long left to go before the end of this first half. David Lopez back to Leo Roman. Leo Roman plays the long ball looking for Mojica, who struggles to bring it down. Mojica back to Manu Morlanes. Manu Morlanes not sure where to pass the ball, and he plays it out wide in the end to Martin Valgent. Here's Pablo Maffeo. Pablo Torre driving forward. Pablo Torre into David Lopez. And now Pablo Torre, Sergi Derder, Pablo Torre. Sergi Pablo, Sergi Pablo. Good ball there from Manu Morlanes into Pablo Torre, who just can't keep hold of it. Levante played the ball up forward, and they award it right back to Mallorca. We're 43 minutes in. Mallorca need to try and push now. Maybe just to see if they can get one goal back before the end of that first half. Here's Manu Morlanes. And they really have struggled to take the ball forward in this first half. Offensively, I just think they're missing a lot. And in that midfield position, they're struggling to get the ball and turn around. Levante putting on a lot of pressure, not really letting them have a lot of offensive play. So now a throw in for Mojica. Johan Mojica plays into Manu Morlanes. Morlanes with the long ball. It falls to Samu Costa. What can he do from here? Samu Costa. Out wide to Derder. Derder attempts the shot. And a flying save by Ryan. And a brilliant long shot there by Sergi Derder. It's a good effort. It's a really, really good effort from him. What a save that is there by Ryan. An absolutely flying save. How important could that save be to avoid Mallorca from getting the equaliser before the end of the first half? So now a corner for Mallorca. It's cleared by Levante. Manu Morlanes tries clearing up again. Pablo Maffeo keeps the ball in play. We're 45 minutes in now. Mallorca need to chase for one more. Here's Luvumbo. Luvumbo skips past his man. And just struggles to get something from that. So now a goal kick for Levante. He did well originally, but it's a really, really good tackle there from Moreno. There's going to be 2 minutes added on. Here's a look again at that first goal from Levante. What a huge mistake. It's just really, really poor defensive awareness. Which is just such a shame because I think defensively they were holding their own. They really weren't doing too bad so far at all defensively. They've not allowed Levante to have an awful lot of chances. Now here's Sergi Derder into Maffeo. Back to Samu Costa. Samu Costa into David Lopez. Here's Mojica, and Mojica gives away the ball, and now Levante can drive forward. Samu Costa commits the tackle, and it's going to be a free kick for Levante. He does very well there, Losada. He gets the ball back from Mojica, and then he just drives forward himself, and he gets the free kick. Mojica was just claiming a handball there from the referee. So now Levante to take the free kick, and most likely that will be the end of the first half. Mallorca clear it, and the referee blows for the end of the first half here at the Ciudad de Valencia Stadium. And David Lopez walks off the pitch. Well, as you can see on the look of his face, with worry, with knowing that he made just such a huge mistake in a game like this. It's such a shame. It really, really is, to have given away that in the first half. But there's still a long second half to go. Mallorca, they really, really haven't been bad in this first half. They've held a lot of the ball, 68% possession for Mallorca. They've held the ball well. They're doing well. They're just struggling a lot going forward. They've not created, really any chances at all. But defensively, they've been strong. They've held the ball quite a lot. They have had 3 shots on target in that first half already. Levante have only had 1 shot on target, and it was the goal given away from that huge mistake. So again, Mallorca, they have been good in this first half, but when you make a slip up, a mistake like that, then it can cost you a goal, it can cost you 2, or it can cost you the whole match. We learned from it last Wednesday, at the Getafe, at the Coliseum Stadium versus Getafe. If you make a mistake, then it can most likely you'll concede the goal. And that's what happened. It's happened out here today again. It's just a shame to give away a goal in a huge match like this at a stadium up against a Levante side that recently have been doing well, and they've been scoring a lot of goals. They've scored 13 in their last 5, and yet up against this Mallorca side, they've only managed to score that 1 mistake. And that's it. Mallorca defensively have been doing well. Midfield has been doing good, helping play from out the back. But when it comes to playing up front, I think they're missing a bit more. They should be creating more chances. And well, obviously you can't be making mistakes like that, because, it could cost us the league. And it just might cost us the league, which is, such a shame to lose a match like this just because of a little mistake like that. Anyways, we're going to go on a quick break, and we'll be back fairly shortly for the second half. We have, never to say the less, a huge mistake, a huge second half coming up, sorry. We'll see you very shortly. Do not go anywhere. What a second half we have coming up. And we are back after that quick short break here, the second half at the Ciudad de Valencia. We're currently, Levante are in the lead 1-0, beating Real Mallorca, leaping over them in the relegation zone. It was Espi who took the lead for Levante just in about the 32nd minute, where David Lopez gave away the ball in a poor mistake to give the lead right to Levante. And at the minute, that's how it stands. You know, it's been a decent first half from both sides. I think Mallorca have played fairly well in this first half. Defensively, they have played well. In the midfield, I think from playing from at the back, it's been good. But when we're talking about going forward in the midfield, there's not been enough action. And up front, you know, Velamuriki, Luvumbo and Pablo Torre aren't really receiving much of the balls. They don't have much to work with. There's just not enough going up there for Real Mallorca, and they just need a bit more. Despite Mallorca being the better side, I think Levante have definitely been more, you know, intense, and I think they have more energy. I just think they want it a bit more, and that is the difference between these two sides. I think if Mallorca want to get a result, they need to put more energy out there. They need to start running more, and they need to push more and more for that equalizer. At the minute, you know, as it stands, it's really, really bad news for Mallorca. And if it stays like this, then it could seal, you know, it could seal off the relegation for Mallorca. As if it stays like this, Mallorca sit on 39 points on the table at 19th place, and then just above them is Girona on 40 points, as they are currently losing up against Atletico de Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. But, you know, if they manage to get a draw, then most likely they would overtake Girona in the table. They'd go into 18th place with 40 points. Even then, they would still be in relegation zone. They'd still be 2 points behind Osasuna, Elche and Levante. They'd still be in the relegation zone. You know, a draw would at least mean that there's still hope. I think a loss, I think if they take a loss, then, you know, it could be potentially game over for Mallorca. But again, there's still another game to go after this one, so we don't really know. So now the players walk into the pitch for the second half. And by the looks of it, there's been a substitution for Mallorca. And we're going to see who's come on now. But there's been a change for the side in white. Coming on is Javier Olaizola. And I'm not quite sure who he's replaced yet. We're going to see that in a minute. So the Levante players are back onto the pitch, and the Real Mallorca players are there too. And we're about to kick off for the second half, where there's everything to play for both of these sides. Levante, at the minute, out of the relegation zone if they get the victory. Mallorca stay in it. Can they make a change in this second half, Mallorca? Can they get the equalizer? Or can they go for the win? It's going to be a very interesting second half, to say the least. And it's going to be Levante who kick off the match. There's already been a yellow card in that first half, and there's already been a substitution for Levante also in the first half. Toljan came off on about the 23rd minute, and replacing him was Nacho Perez. And then shortly after, he also received a yellow card. So the substitution that was made for Mallorca is David Lopez came off. And David Lopez, he did make that huge mistake to give away the goal in the first half. So I'm not really surprised. Maybe there's just a drop in his confidence. And replacing him is Javier Olaizola, the youngster from the Real Mallorca Academy. Comes on such an important game like this, What a moment it is for him. So now here's Pablo Maffeo, Samu Costa. Samu Costa into Martin Valgens. Here's Olaizola. Olaizola back to Martin Valgens. Maffeo into Samu Costa. Samu Costa tries playing the ball forward. Doesn't work out for him. And in the first half, Real Mallorca have had majority of possession. They've also had majority of shots. Again, I do think they have been better, but they've just not put in enough. Going up forward, it's not been good enough, and I just think they need a bit more intensity. Now Leo Roman plays it short into Olaizola. Here's Velamurriki back. Martin Valgens. He plays it wide into Maffeo. Pablo Maffeo decides to cut in. He puts in the cross looking for Velamurriki. And Ryan gets in the air first and he gets his hands on the ball. And he knows that Real Mallorca are going to be constantly looking for those crosses into Velamurriki. And he does well to intercept the cross. Now Manu Morlanes into Velamurriki, who tries playing it short. It falls to Mojica. Mojica decides to put in the cross. It's cleared by De La Fuente. Manu Morlanes. It falls back to Johan Mojica. Samu Costa. Here's Mojica again. And you can just see how Mallorca really struggled to look for a way forward and create chances. They've just not had that creativity yet. So now here's Darder, who tries putting in the cross. Samu Costa, it falls to Luvumbo. The referee awards the free kick as Samu Costa commits the foul on Moreno. You can see Samu Costa and Luvumbo both trying to get the ball off of him. And it doesn't look like there's an awful lot on that tackle there from Samu Costa. I think it's a bit soft to award that free kick from the referee. And Rayo Vallecano made it 2 in their matchup, so now beating Villarreal 2-0 at the Estadio de la Cerámica. Here's Levante playing in the through ball. Samu Costa can't quite clear it the way he would want to. And the through ball into Martinez was just a bit too much. And now it's going to be a goal kick for Mallorca. Trying to play the long ball into Velamurriki, and Real Mallorca give away the ball again. And now SP attempts the long shot. I'll tell you what, not a bad effort there. You can see SP plays it through into Romero. Romero gets the shot off just wide from the post. Lovely touch there from Pablo Torre. Levante get the ball back again. Here's Romero. Good interception from Manu Morlanes. Zito Luvumbo gets taken down. And a throw-in for Levante. There's the shot there from Romero. Just goes wide off of that second post. It's a good effort from him. Levante in possession, and they give away the throw-in immediately. So now Levante play the ball back up forward. Mallorca clearing it. Levante clearing it. None of these teams want to keep the ball. Good touch there from Zito Luvumbo. It's cleared by Levante. And in the end, Moreno keeps the possession. Luvumbo commits the foul. So a free kick there for Levante. You can see puts his hands in. Zito Luvumbo takes him down there. And Atletico Bilbao have equalized now up against Celta Vigo. So it's 1-1 at that stadium. But all that matters here now is that Mallorca still need to get one back if they want to try and get any type of points. Pablo Maffeo commits the free kick there. Now Levante have a potentially dangerous set-piece play. Not too far out from the goal. And Levante could potentially make something from this. It's Martinez who's stepping up to take it. The captain for Levante. 52 minutes in here now. What can they make from this? Pablo Maffeo clears the cross. Samu Costa tries clearing it. Olaizola boots it up forward. It falls to Zito Luvumbo. And he had a free ball to play into Muriqi, but he didn't decide to take it. Quite surprised there. I think he should have played him through. He just didn't decide to take any risks. Now Olaizola into Manu Morlanes. Sergi Darder. Back to Leo Roman. So far, Mallorca in the second half, they've not had any chances yet. No shots on target. Leo Roman plays the long ball looking for Muriqi. He brings it down into Mojica. Out wide, it's Martin Valgens. Pablo Maffeo. Pablo Maffeo giving away the ball. They do get a throw in there, Mallorca. And there's definitely been a drop of intensity, I think, a little bit in this second half. Both sides don't look as energetic. The match isn't as going as fast. It just looks like it's slowed down a little bit. So here's Maffeo, tries putting in the cross to find Muriqi. Doesn't find him. Samu Costa picks up the rebound. Samu Costa with the ball in play. Manu Morlanes out wide to Darder. Darder tries putting in the cross. And it just goes wide. It bounces past everyone. And now a goal kick for Levante. It's just not been good enough so far offensively from Mallorca. And they have held the possession. But going forward, there's just not enough creative play at the minute. Here's Sergi Darder into Samu Costa, who tries playing the through ball into Zito Luvumbo. It was a good effort there from the Portuguese. The pass was cut out. Now the ball is played through into Espy, who gets the shot off. But the offside flag was up, so either way, it wouldn't have counted. Quite clearly you can see offside there. It's been a good defensive half so far from Mallorca. In this second half, defensively, they've held their own. The midfield, I think they're doing well, but again, there just needs to be that bit more chances up front. And I think if I was Martin De Michelis, I'd maybe start thinking about bringing on Jamri Gili and extending the play out and putting on some wingers. So now Manu Morlanes looking for Zito Luvumbo. There's been a goal for Espanyol, and now they take the lead up against Osasuna. Manu Morlanes into Pablo Torre, and a poor pass there. The ball is given away to Levante. Good tackle there from Olaizola. Pedamuriki back to Martin Valgens. Sergi Derder. Samu Costa back to Sergi. Out wide into Maffeo. Maffeo fakes the cross. He takes on his own. He puts in the cross now, but it goes into the hands of Ryan. And that just seems to be Mallorca's approach every time. Putting in the crosses non-stop to try and find Bedamuriki, but it's not working out for them here. They just need to switch up the approach, I think. So playing it down into Johan Mojica. Manu Morlanes into Samu Costa. Out wide to Pablo Maffeo. Here's Darder. Olaizola. 57 minutes in here now. And a fun fact for you is that Mallorca have never actually beaten Levante at their own stadium. So, you know, it sort of says the record that Mallorca have at this stadium. And, well, to say the least, it's not a good one. They have gotten draws at this stadium, but they've never actually managed to get a win. So now the through ball into Johan Mojica. He manages to keep hold of it. Mojica with a lovely ball into Pablo Torre. Here's Pablo Torre who attempts the shot. And it goes wide off of that first post. And it's a good play from Pablo Torre. A lovely bit of skill to cut in and get the shot off. And I think Mallorca need more of that. It's a good effort from him. So now taking the goal kick is Levante. They play from out the back and Mallorca put on quite a bit of pressure. Olaizola does very well to cut out the header. He's been very good ever since he's come on for David Lopez, the youngster. He really has. Johan Mojica gets taken down by Martinez. And it's going to be a free kick for Mallorca. So now 60 minutes in. There's 30 minutes left to go. And Espi committed the foul on Leo Roman there. So now Mallorca take the free kick and the play is going to restart. And I mean, realistically, in the second half, Levante, they haven't seen the ball at all. They've barely touched it. When it comes to holding possession, Mallorca have done exceptionally well so far, but they just need to create better chances. Now, bringing it down. Ola Sagasti tries to play it forward. The pass is cut out. Here's Pablo Maffeo. Driving forward is Sergi Derder. He plays into Samu Costa. Samu Costa drives forward. Out wide to Maffeo. Maffeo's going to put in the cross. Trying to find Vedamuriki. And in the end, it's a free kick for Levante. And now Jan Virgili is going to be coming on for Mallorca. The first Well, not first, the second substitution made for this Mallorca side. And Pablo Torre comes off. Jan Virgili comes on. 2 Barcelona players that arrived this season from the academy. So now Ryan takes the goal kick for Levante. And Sanchez has gone down on the ground now and he looks quite hurt. Doesn't look like there's an awful lot on it. It's another foul by Zito Luvumbo and he needs to watch out. It's his 3rd or 4th foul that he's committed now. As a player who plays up front, he loves putting in a tackle or 2. So now it's going to be a free kick for Levante, and it's Moreno. He steps up to take it. Now playing the ball along down this left-hand side. Tries putting in the cross. It's cleared by Martin Valgent. Samu Costa picks up the ball. He gets taken down. And now it's going to be a free kick for Mallorca. 63 minutes in. 27 minutes left to go. Mallorca do not have long to try and get a goal or 2 to get back in it. Now Martin Valgent steps up to take the free kick. And Real Sociedad have scored 2 goals and now they lead 3-2 up against Valencia. And now what's happened here? The referee stops the play and he's ran over to the sidelines and he's handed out a yellow card to someone on the Mallorca bench. Not sure if he's handed out to one of the staff players or to the manager. But he's ran over to those sidelines and he's handed out a yellow card. I believe it's for Antonio Rayo, if I'm not wrong, who's one of the Real Mallorca centre-backs who's been out quite some time injured now for Mallorca. So now there's going to be a substitution made for Levante before the play continues. Coming off is going to be Losada. And replacing him is going to be Roger Brugge. So Roger Brugge comes on. And coming off is going to be Losada. So that is the substitution made there for Levante. Now the play is going to continue. And there's going to be a free kick for Mallorca as Vedan Muriqi was taken down there. You just see he's got his elbow on the back of his head there. He does well, Vedan Muriqi, to win the free kick over Arriaga. So now Jambi Gili and Johan Mojica both step up to take the set piece play. It's quite far out, I think, to attempt a shot. I'm guessing that Mallorca are going to put in the cross. Johan Mojica and Jambi Gili having a bit of a argument over who's going to take it, if I'm not wrong. But I'm just not quite sure what's happening. Jambi Gili in the end attempts to cross. It goes far over and Levante somehow give away a corner there. And it just looks like Johan Mojica and Jambi Gili were having a discussion over who should take it. So now Jambi Gili is going to put in the cross for Mallorca. He puts it into that second post where no one is there. And it goes into the hands of Ryan. So now Levante take the ball and they're back in possession. They haven't seen it for quite some time. Now they finally have hold of it. Here's Ryan playing the long ball into Sanchez. Sanchez can't keep that ball in play, so it's going to be a throw-in for Mallorca. Here's Sergi Darder. Into Maffeo. Maffeo into Manu Morlanes. Samu Costa. Out wide to Zito Luvumbo. Back to Maffeo. Maffeo puts in the cross. It goes over. It finds Gianvirigili. Gianvirigili tries to put in the cross again and it's blocked. And Levante kick the ball up forward. There's a shove there from Ispi. Just uses his hands to push him over. I think he's lucky to not receive the yellow card there. An intentional push. I think the referee should be booking him for that. I really do. Intentionally pushing him over. But by the looks of it here, Martin Valgent just... he's having a bit of trouble with his thigh. And he's gone down quite hurt and he's got his hands on the bottom part of his thigh. And this could be bad news for Mallorca. Antonio Rayo is back and available for Mallorca, but he's not made an appearance in months. So now for him to come on in a game like this, where there's only about 23 to 24 minutes left to go, it's going to be do or die realistically. And by the looks of it, there's going to be 2 players getting ready for Mallorca. That's where it happened there, where Ispi just gave Martin Valgent a shove. In one of these heavy steps, it just looks like maybe he could have pulled the muscle. So now Martin Valgent is going to have to come off for Mallorca. And replacing him is going to be the youngster who made his debut not long ago. There's actually 2 substitutions made. So coming on, Takuma Sano. He comes on, and coming off is going to be Zito Luvumbo. And then the other substitution is Martin Valgent comes off, and replacing him is Mikel Catalayud, the youngster who made his debut just a week ago up against Getafe. So now here's Gianvirigili, and the ball is back in play. He tries driving it forward, and he gives away the goal kick for Levante. He's a bit unfortunate there, Gianvirigili, trying to put in the low cross. So those are the 2 substitutions that were made for Mallorca. And now we're in the 70th minute marker, where there's 20 minutes left to be played in the second half, plus whatever's added on of extra time. Ryan takes the goal kick for Levante. Muriqi brings it down, but he also gets taken down. Sam Costa gets the ball back. The referee stopped the play, and he awarded the free kick to Levante. And why has he done that? He just claims that De La Fuente was fouled by Muriqi. And you can see what Muriqi thinks about that one. So now the ball is taken quickly, and Levante have a chance. Roger Brugoy just tried putting in the cross into that second post, but it goes over the crossbar. And now Real Mallorca take their goal kick quickly. Muriqi, there was a shove on him, and now Mallorca have the free kick. They take it quickly, playing out wide. Here's Mikel Catalayud. He plays it back to Darder. Here's Sergi Darder. He tries putting in the cross, and it goes far, far over that crossbar, and they've awarded the goal kick to Levante. And Martin Demichelis has had quite a lot of trust with the youngsters this season, bringing on two of them that we've never really seen. And he's given these young players the chances to make their debuts, but not just to make debuts, but also to play in games like these, where there's quite a lot of pressure on their backs. So Ryan takes the goal kick for Levante. Now Levante trying to drive forward, and the referee awards the handball for Levante. You can just see it's an accidental handball there from Mikel Catalayud. And now potentially a dangerous set-piece play for Levante. Mallorca need to start getting balls up forward to see if they can go for that equalizer. And stepping up is Olasagasti and Martinez. Both of those players step up to take the free kick for Levante. Olasagasti puts in the cross in the end. It goes far over everyone. Mallorca pick up the ball, and now they can break. Manu Morlanes decides to play it back and restart the play. And maybe in those chances, they just need to be breaking on the counter-attack. Good ball into Takuma Sano. He plays out wide to Miguel. Here's Miguel Catalayud into Samu Costa. Olaizola back to Maffeo. Into Miguel Catalayud. Samu Costa. And they end up losing it there. So now a throw-in for Mallorca. So 15 minutes left to go. And Mallorca need that equalizer. As it stands for Real Mallorca, they would go down to 19th place on 39 points. And just above them is Girona on 40 points as it stands. So it's really not looking good. They need to try and at least get a point. Leo Roman intercepts that pass and he plays it up forward. He ends up... Not sure if the ball went out of play or not, but the referee lets the play continue. Takuma Sano gets the ball back. It falls to Vedan Muriqi. He plays it out wide into Giambirigili. And Giambirigili just loses it. And now Levante can break forward. It's a good through ball. Here's Espy. He's through on goal. Espy gets the shot off. And a huge save from Leo Roman. An absolutely magnificent one. It was going right at him, but it was a very, very powerful shot from Espy. There's 15 minutes left now. Can Mallorca get back into this one? Here's Pablo Maffeo. Samu Costa. Olaizola. Manu Morlanes back to Olaizola. It falls to Manu Morlanes. He gets taken down. Sergi Darder out wide into Takuma. Takuma out to Miguel. Miguel Catalayud, he skips past his man. He tries putting in the cross. Outside of the foot. Good effort from him. Now Mojica tries putting it in, and it's cleared by Levante. Leo Roman comes far off his line to push the ball up forward. Miguel Catalayud back to Maffeo. Sergi Darder. Samu Costa. Samu Costa gets taken down and he loses in a very dangerous position. Now Levante can break forward. What can they do from here? And it's a really, really poor pass there from Arriaga. The ball is kicked up and Levante have possession of it. Here's Ryan, who plays the ball up forward. Romero brings it down very well. Romero gets taken down. The play continues. There's no free kick for him. Here's Samu Costa, who plays the long ball looking for Jambiri Gili. Too much power on that pass from Samu Costa. And now it's going to be a goal kick for Levante. And they can have a bit of a breather after those intense few minutes. And they were just claiming a free kick. Levante, as Takuma Sano supposedly committed the foul on Romero. Jambiri Gili was just a bit slow to react there. It was a huge chance for him. And also, lovely play there from Ispi. Does very well to get the touch and to take the shot on. But he just kicks it right at Leo Roman, who makes the save. And now Ryan has received a yellow card for Levante for taking too long to take the goal kick, I believe. Now here's Sanchez driving forward. He can't keep hold of it. Sanchez putting in the cross for Levante. And it goes over the crossbar, and it was another chance for Espi. Good ball from Ola Sagasti. And now, by the looks of it, there's going to be another substitution for Mallorca. Coming on is going to be the man himself, Abdon Prats. And coming off is Manu Morlanes. Abdon Prats, a huge player, a huge legend at this Real Mallorca squad. And while he may be past his prime, he's still here to help push the team on forward. He's a huge important player at this Mallorca squad. He has been for years. Now can he help push the team on forward? A free kick for Mallorca, and we're just about approaching the 80th minute now. You can see De La Fuente. He's just got his hands all over Muriqi. So a clear free kick. Now Jambiri Gili. He does well. Jambiri Gili puts in the low cross. Ryan comes out and makes the save. And no one is there to catch the rebound for Mallorca. Now Olaizola, lovely tackle from him to keep the ball in play. Playing it back. Here's Olaizola. Samu Costa. Samu Costa plays it out wide into Maffeo. Here's Miguel Catalayud. Back to Pablo Maffeo. Samu Costa into Sergi Darder. Jambiri Gili plays the long ball into Mojica, who tries to keep a ball in play, but just can't manage to do so. And now it's going to be a goal kick for Levante. It's good effort there from Jambiri Gili. Just takes his man on and drives forward. There needs to be someone there picking up that rebound for Mallorca. They just need to be a bit more aggressive going forward. Now, by the looks of it, Levante are going to be making 3 substitutions very soon. But until then, the play's going to continue. Free kick committed. As I thought I was taken down by SB. Real Mallorca take the free kick quickly. Here's Darder into Mojica. Johan Mojica plays the free ball forward, but doesn't work out for them. Ryan gives the ball away, back to Mallorca. It's a good interception there. Now Levante can drive forward. They put in the cross to that second post to try and pick out Romero. Romero plays it back. And SB gets the shot off. And now going down on the ground is Roger Bruegue. Bruegue hits Johan Mojica quite hard there. And now Mojica goes down. Johan Mojica was just telling Roger Bruegue to get back up on his feet. Then Roger Bruegue gives him a hit. There it is there. There's no penalty from that. There's not enough on it. But then Johan Mojica, he just tells him to get up. And then he just gives a bit of a hit on Mojica. He's going to receive the yellow card for it, but you know, he needs to watch out. It could have easily been awarded as a red if the referee really wanted to. And you can see the Mallorca players think it should be a red. And, you know, it is a form of aggression from the other players, you know. In the rulebook, a straight form of aggression made on purpose needs to be a direct red. So, you know, I'm just not sure how he's not been sent off there. And now, Johan Mojica having a word with the referee. There it is there. And I mean, he obviously hits him on purpose. And it is a form of aggression. You know, just not quite sure he's not been sent off. So now the referee, by the looks of it, is heading over to the VAR. And he was going to be having a look at what we were just talking about. That hit from Brueguer on Mojica. There it is there. Mojica has a word with him. Brueguer, you know, he puts his fists out. He hits him. You know, he hits him right in the face. For me, you know, it just needs to be a red card. There it is there. He hits him. He's not even looking at where he's going to hit him. He's not looking directly at Mojica, but he knows that he's going to make connection with him. It is true that Mojica, you know, picks up the sort of back part of his shirt, but not quite sure what's going to happen here. The referee's looked at the red. And now Johan Mojica has been sent off, but wait, but Brueguer has also been sent off. What has happened here? So Brueguer for Levante receives a direct red after VAR, but Johan Mojica receives a second yellow, so he's going to be sent off as well. So both of these teams will now be down to 10 men. Absolute madness in these last few minutes. Mojica receives a second yellow. And Brueguer receives a direct red. And what has happened here in these last few minutes? Absolute madness. So now Mallorca are down to 10 men, but so are Levante. Absolute madness. And now Real Mallorca give the ball away, and a through ball is played into Romero. What a chance that was there for Levante. Now Leo Roman takes the goal kick quickly. Leo Roman gives the ball away poorly. And now Levante have a throw-in. And it's been absolute chaos within these last few minutes. One VAR check, 2 red cards, 1 direct red card, and the other, well, was 2 yellows combined. And Levante were going to make 3 substitutions. I think the 3 substitutions are still going to be made. It's a corner for Levante as Ola Sagasti manages to get it for his team. So now to take the corner is Levante. And they're going to put in the cross. Levante puts that cross into the second post and it's gone into the back of the net for Levante. And now that is going to be the end for Real Mallorca. Where do we go from here? It's gone into the back of the net. In the corner from Levante. The headers from Arriaga. And that is 2-0 for Levante. 87 minutes in here now. And Mallorca can do nothing but just contemplate their match performance out here today. It's Pablo Maffeo and Mikel Catalayud, you know, they're both on him. Someone needs to be getting on him a bit more accurate. To be fair, Miguel Catalayud, he's very unlucky, but he's very unlucky to not make a connection with it, but he just needs to take, I think, a step or 2 more back. Then Pablo Maffeo's behind him. You know, you've got one player in front of you, another behind you. He can't be getting on the edge of that. It's 2-0 now for Levante, and it does not look good for Mallorca. And, you know, with only 1 game left to go after this one, the end of the season does not look good for Mallorca. And with this match being at a loss, if it is to end in a loss, which most likely it will, then Mallorca will drop to 19th with 39 points. Girona above them on 40, and Levante, Elche and Osasuna all on 42. Mallorca could overtake Levante in goal difference, but it wouldn't be easy. So now 89 minutes in here now, and what a shame. And now Valencia have equalized up against Real Sociedad. So that's 3-3 in that matchup. So Ryan takes the goal kick for Levante. Sergi Darder picks up the rebound. Here's Giambirigili. He plays into Sergi. Sergi Darder driving forward now. Out wide to Giambirigili. Here's Giambirigili. Plays out wide to Miguel Catalayud. Samu Costa. Back to Miguel. Miguel into Samu Costa. Can Mallorca at least get one back? The cross goes in. It's cleared. There's going to be 6 minutes added on in this matchup. And the foul is committed there by Miguel. And now it's going to be a free kick for Levante. And at this point in time, it's really, really worrying stages for Mallorca. There's going to be 3 substitutions made for Levante by the looks of it. And even if Mallorca were to win their next one, which is at home up against Real Oviedo, it still would be very, very hard for them to not go down. Coming off is going to be Ola Sagasti. And there's going to be 3 substitutions made. Ola Sagasti comes off. Replacing him is going to be Hugo Ragober. Also coming on is going to be Etai Eyong. And then also coming on is Karim Toundé. So those are the substitutions made for Levante, and the celebrations in here, as you can imagine, huge for Levante. What a match it is for them. It's absolutely huge, and this match most likely has saved them from relegation. Now Sergi Darder plays it long to try and find Bela Muriqi. Out wide to Miguel Catalayud. Here's Takuma Sano. Samu Costa back to Takuma. Bela Muriqi tries heading on forward. It falls to Abdon. He tries passing it back. Sergi Darder keeps the ball in play. Good touch by Takuma. The cross goes in. It's cleared by Levante. And it's going to be a corner for Mallorca. And just cold faces in that away stand for Mallorca. So Jambri Gili puts in the cross. Mallorca can't make anything from that. Here's Miguel Catalayud. Out wide to Darder. Darder into Jambri Gili. Eyong plays it out wide. Now here come Levante. 2 minutes left now before the extra time ends and the full-time whistle is blown. And most likely this is going to be the end of this matchup for Mallorca. And what's happened here? The referee has pointed towards the penalty spot, I think, for Levante. And it's going to be a penalty for Levante. It's a handball from Janvir Gili. You can barely even see the deflection. And by the looks of it, it's going to be a penalty. And the Levante players can't quite even believe that it's a penalty. And I mean, look at the face. Look at the face on him. Karim Toundé, the player that took the shot, I mean, he's in disbelief that it's a penalty. So the referee has pointed towards the penalty spot. And now De La Fuente has the chance to make it free for Levante. So he steps up to the penalty spot. De La Fuente takes it. And it hits off of the crossbar and he's missed the penalty. It's bounced off of that crossbar. And De La Fuente has missed a huge penalty for Levante. And although you might not think that it's not important at this stage of the season for goal difference, it definitely is important. What's a miss that is from him. So now Muriqi heads it down on forward, but nothing comes from it. Levante play out wide. Mallorca get the ball back. Trying to play it down the left-hand side. Mallorca keep the ball in play. They put in the cross to try and find Muriqi. Muriqi brings it down into Abdon Prats. Abdon Prats can't keep it in play, and now Levante can break forward. Here's Ayong. Ayong can still drive forward. Good tackle there from Pablo Maffeo. And it's going to be a throw-in for Levante. And that's the penalty there. And it just smashes off of that top crossbar. And it is a huge miss for Levante. But either way, the important thing is that they get the 3 points out here today. That's all they're care about. And any minute now, the referee will blow the whistle. We're in the 97th. And Valencia have scored again, and they've made it 3-4. So Valencia, what a match it is over there. But again, it's not going to matter all that much for Mallorca at the minute. So now Levante take the throw in. We're nothing but seconds away before the referee blows for the full-time whistle. And to say the least, a very disappointing result. Well, more than disappointing for Mallorca is what it means for them. So now it's gone out. It's going to be a goal kick. We've hit the 98th minute now. Leo Roman steps up. He takes the goal kick. The ball goes directly out of play. The referee's still not blown his whistle. We're just waiting for the referee to finish. We're in the 98th. Free kick for Mallorca, and they take it quickly and play it up forward. Muriqi heads down forward. The play is still not stopped. Mallorca can still chase one more. Sergi Derder out wide. Takuma Sana tries playing into Sergi Derder. It doesn't work out for them. And now the referee blows for the full-time whistle. And that is the end here at Ciudad de Valencia. And that is a huge disappointing result for Mallorca. And I mean, just got no words. You know, just how disappointing that result is. And I'm just looking at the table at the minute. So I'm just looking at the table now at what this means for Mallorca. So as it stands at the minute, it's very complicated. Mallorca are at 19th place with 39 points. there's one match left to go. Mallorca face Real Oviedo next matchup. And obviously, that has to be a win. Let's just suppose that Mallorca get the 3 points. They've got Girona right above them on 40 points. Then you've got Elche, Osasuna and Levante all on 42 points. If Mallorca were to get the 3 points, they'd be on 42 points. And they would be at 18th place, but they'd be drawed with Elche, Osasuna and Levante. Now it would all just be up to goal difference. And as it stands, the only one that have worse goal difference than Mallorca is Girona. The problem is, Girona's next match is up against Elche, right? It's a complicated one. Mathematically, I'm not sure. Mallorca can be saved, I think, but I'm just not quite sure how this would work. If you look at the table, it's so complicated because Girona play next against Elche. Girona are on 40 points, 1 point above us, and Elche are on 42, but they beat us with goal difference. And then you've got Osasuna also on 42. They also beat us with goal difference. But then, you've got Levante on 42, but they equal us on goal difference, right? It's a really, really complicated one. But I think that Mallorca would need to win their next match and beat Levante on goal difference in order to stay up. And Girona would need to lose their next match. So that's I believe what needs to happen. Girona needs to lose against Elche. And then Levante, if I'm not wrong, Mallorca need to get a better goal difference than Levante. Because they're not going to get a better goal difference than Osasuna or Elche because they're just too far ahead. But Levante and Mallorca are on the same amount of goal difference, minus 13. So Mallorca, would need to outscore Levante, get a better goal difference, and win their next match. And Girona would need to lose. If that happens, then Mallorca will stay up. If not, then, it's over. It's game over for Mallorca and back down to the second division. It's going to be a really tight one. It really, really is going to be a close one. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's going to be a tough one. Mallorca, well, first things first, they need to win their next match in order for any of that to happen. And then the rest, well, it's not really up to us. But putting that aside, talking about today's performance, hugely, it's disappointing. But they didn't exactly play really, really bad. I think first half, speaking about the elephant in the room, the goal given away by David Lopez is, I think, the main killer. Because once you give away that first goal, it's tough. It really is tough. Once you give away that first, you've got to feel for David Lopez. He's a young player. He gives away a huge mistake, but we all give away, eventually players always make mistakes like that. It happens. You've got to feel bad for him. He gave it away in, the one match where Mallorca just couldn't afford any mistakes, any slip-ups. This is the game to go down or to stay up. And unfortunately for him, it just happened to give away a mistake in this match. He came off. He got replaced in the second half. First half was decent for Mallorca. Defensively, they were pretty good. Going forward, they struggled a bit. Then in the second half, Mallorca had the ball at all times. Levante didn't even want to go forward, but even like that, Mallorca, they just couldn't get a goal. They struggled to create chances. And Levante, even though despite Mallorca had the ball constantly in that second half, Levante still managed to score another. It's just not good enough. It wasn't terrible out there today, but it wasn't good enough. Last week out, it was really poor. This week was a bit better, but still poor. If you don't put in these good performances, if you gave away with mistakes like that, this is the price you pay. It really is a shame, but that's what it is for Mallorca. Imagine going down for Mallorca is going to cost them a lot. They have some spectacular players, some brilliant players that really just won't be interested in playing, second division football. You've got names like international names that are playing, for their national team now. They're rumored to be going to big clubs, and they're not going to be interested in playing in second division. And that's just the truth. So Mallorca, I think, if they go down, we're going to be looking at a lot of losses financially, of course, and losing huge players. For me, players like Samuel Costa, of course, Vera Moriki, really talented players that just won't be interested in staying if Mallorca go down, and it really is a shame. It really, really is. It's still not over, but Mallorca need a miracle next week. They really need a miracle if they want to stay in. First things first, they need to do their part. Then the rest, well, it's not up to them. They need to get the win next week, score as many goals as possible, and try and stay up. Hopefully Girona lose, and hopefully they beat Levante on goal difference. That is, I think, if I'm not wrong, the only possibility for them to stay up. Girona, their next opponent next week, as we just mentioned, is up against Elche. Now, is it away from home or is it at home? It is at home for Girona, which, is even more bad news for Mallorca, because I think Girona, when they play at home, they look like a lot of a better side. They're not the strongest side, Girona, but Elche aren't either, realistically. Elche average just a few more goals than Girona. They both concede about the same amount of goals per match. They're two very equal teams. So again, I don't know what's going to happen. If Girona were to draw, that would also be good news, I believe, for Mallorca. They need to draw or lose, and if they win, then it's definitely over for them. So they need Girona to lose or draw, and then they need Levante. They need to outbeat them in goal difference. Now, we're going to take a look at who Levante face next week, because I'm not sure who they face up against, and hopefully it's a difficult match. Now, looking at the fixtures for Levante next week, they face Real Betis away from home, which is definitely a difficult match. Real Betis at their stadium, they're a really, really strong side. They do score loads of goals. They don't concede a lot of goals, which is really good news. So, hopefully for Mallorca, Levante take the loss, and hopefully they don't score a lot of goals and they concede more. So, for the Girona match, it's going to be difficult because they're facing Elche at home at the Montilivi Stadium. It's going to be difficult. For Levante, it looks pretty decent. They're facing Real Betis away from home, which are a tough side. And then Mallorca play Real Oviedo at home at the Summer Stadium, which obviously just has to be a win. And with more than one goal, they need to at least try and get 2 or 3. So we'll see. It's really going to be tough. They need a miracle, and we'll see what happens for them. It's going to be a nerve-wracking, very, very nerve-wracking week for Mallorca fans. But the truth is, most likely, it's done. Most likely it's done. We're going back down. But you never know. We'll have to wait till next week. That is going to be the end of this live stream from me here. Just disappointing. Lost for words. Really, really disappointed. It's still not over. It's not over yet. So we'll see if, some type of miracle happens for Mallorca. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream. I've been your host for today. My name is Daniel Armstrong. Make sure you tune in for the last match of the season next week, the decider to see if Mallorca go down or not. It's going to be next week, next Saturday, 23rd of May at 9 p.m. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to be there. That's going to be the decider to see if we go down to second division or if we stay in the first division. Have a good night, everybody.